Hello everyone, it's been a busy couple of weeks, so there haven't been many episodes of Nathan Talk Sports lately, but I'm back, should be every week now, and back to talk sports. Let's start off with the NBA playoffs. Thrilling Celtics sweep over the Brooklyn Nets. Games were close, but we won them all. Only sweep in the first round, in what was a very kind of boring first round overall, but it's kind of expected. No Game 7s in the first round. For the first time since 2011, and only the second time since the playoffs first round expanded to a best of 7 in 2003. All right. Who won the first round? The Heat beat the Hawks in 5 games. Sixers beat the Raptors in 6. For a while, I thought the Raptors might have overcome the 3-0 deficit, but Sixers hung on, and we're going to talk more about that game 6 later. Bucks beat the Bulls in 5. Celtics swept the Nets. And in the West, Suns beat the Pelicans in 6. That was a little tight for Phoenix for a while, especially with Devin Booker out. Mavs beat the Jazz in 6. Good job in the Mavs winning without Luka for the first few games. I thought the Jazz would win because of that. Warriors over the Nuggets in 5. Grizzlies over the Timberwolves in 6. That was a very good series. And now on to the second round. Heat and Sixers. This series is going to be a bloodbath, I feel. Sixers will get a lucky win in Game 4, but Embiid being out for the first 2 games changed the whole series. And why is he out? Because Doc Rivers did playoff Doc Rivers and fucked up. Okay, Sixers in Game 6 were up 29 over the Raptors with 5 minutes to go. Actually, it was under 4 minutes. No NBA team has ever blown a 25-point lead with 5 minutes to go. And yet he kept Joel Embiid in the game. And he got hurt. He took an elbow to the face and he has a concussion and an orbital fracture. What a stupid decision. He forgot to coach. Oh, let's say the Raptors have a miracle comeback and get close. Doc Rivers, it is not baseball. You can put him back in the game. And even if he didn't get hurt, it's a bad decision anyways. And will negatively affect the team because he's been injury prone since his time at Kansas. And he played over 38 minutes a game in the series. And yet you kept him in garbage time. Your MVP caliber player. You kept him in garbage time. What the fuck? Why? So Heat in 5. All right, best series of the postseason should be Celtics and Bucks. It's going to be a great series. This feels like the conference or even the NBA Finals. I have Celtics in 6. And I can't wait for this series. All right. Suns Mavericks, another interesting series. Can epic postseason performer Luka Doncic lead the Mavs to an upset over Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and the top-seeded Suns? I say no, Suns in 6. But if Luka can do his inner Jordan again, they got a shot. All right, final series, John Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Warriors, who are back in form. Their title contending form after 2 years of just not being very good. The addition of Jordan Poole has really helped them out, but yeah, I have Warriors in 7. That should be a great series as well. Stanley Cup playoffs. The most exciting, dramatic tournament in sports is underway. The passion and skill are unmatched. I'm so excited. My choice is Panthers over Flames to the final. And I have the Bruins beating the Hurricanes and losing to the Rangers. Can't wait for the postseason. Let's go. All right, end of the European top flight seasons for soccer. Dramatic title races in England and Italy. City are 1 point ahead of Liverpool in the Premier League. Both teams are on fire. This might not be much of a title race because I'm not sure if these teams are going to drop any points. This has happened before where they've been on City 1 point ahead of Liverpool, actually. Please, Liverpool, do not get the quadruple. I don't think I'd ever get over it. We need to win that FA Cup final. All right, 4-team race in Italy for Serie A. Milan are 2 points ahead of Inter. Napoli and Juventus are still alive, but need a lot of help. Premier League race for 4th. Chelsea on 66 points in 3rd. Arsenal are surging right now. 3 huge wins in a row over United, Chelsea, and West Ham to get back into 4th place. Tottenham on 61. Man United are alive on 58 points, but not really because they only have 2 games left while everyone else has 4 games. This is for 2 Champions League spots, by the way. The North London derby between Arsenal and Tottenham is likely to determine 4th place. Rivalry for 4th. This feels like a decade ago. Every year it was like this. Although Arsenal always beat Tottenham there, and I'm not sure if Arsenal will beat Tottenham this time. I think they get a draw, and that should be enough for Arsenal to get 4th, but it's going to be drama. All right, Champions League final will be this month as well. Sadly, we're not in it. It'll be between Liverpool and Villarreal. Liverpool were up 2-0 in the first leg. I think they pretty much have it, but Man City and Real Madrid played a 4-3 thriller in the first leg. Man City lead 4-3, but I'm not sure if they can hold this lead. Actually, I don't think they will. I think Real are going to do it at the Bernabeu. Benzema hat trick, calling it now. 3-1. So 6-5 in aggregate. All right. The Cincinnati Reds baseball team is horrible. They are 3-18. Absolutely pathetic. Joey Votto and Jonathan India are on the IL. This is a nightmare for them. Their owner says that he could get more money somewhere else, but I don't think he would. The team's shit. Why would you come to a game? Maybe if you go down south a little bit with warmer weather, maybe you get a few more fans. The Reds' attendance has been not as pathetic as the A's. They can't even get 3,000 people to their games. But their attendance is pretty low. It's 19,000. I thought it was worse. Absolutely pathetic team, though. Their franchise record for losses is 101. They're going to blow past that this year. They might lose 110. They're an absolute nightmare. I think they have the worst pitching and the second worst offense or something like that in all of baseball. What a pathetic team. They blew up a contender in the offseason despite the extra postseason spot. That's a problem with baseball. The A's have that too. Pathetic. Fucking pathetic. All right, this is a late edition, but after game 1, I have to talk about this. Warriors, Grizzlies, and NBA refereeing and the rules. This is not about Draymond Green getting thrown out when he shouldn't have. He should have gotten F1, not an F2, but this is about the end of the game. The NBA has instituted a challenge system. It's worked very well for the most part, but there are flaws to the system. Flaw number 1, if you win the challenge, you don't get your challenge back. Why should you be punished for being right? That goes against everything else in sports. It's like, especially with only one challenge in the game. And certain things should be reviewable but aren't. Like missed foul and traveling calls that are just as crucial, but it's kind of okay that they aren't reviewable, but it's hard to tell because there's so many different instances where it could have happened. But what we have to talk about now is the last 2 minutes rule. The Warriors and the Grizzlies. Here we go. Warriors up 1. Memphis takes forever to foul, which is pathetic, and there was no reason for them to do that. Klay Thompson, 90% free throw shooter, steps up to the line and misses them both. Less than a 1% chance of that happening. And he missed them both with the Warriors up 1. And the ball's tipped and the ball goes out of bounds. None of the officials even attempt to make a call. So they just say, fuck it, jump ball. All right. I was like, okay, they're reviewing, but then the commentators are like, we can't review that in the last 2 minutes because the teams don't have any challenges. This is the most important call of the game. And they cannot review it. Every other sport, the challenge system has a way to do it, where they automatically review things in the last couple minutes. Baseball, after the 7th inning, umpire automatically reviews everything. Football, last 2 minutes, the booth reviews. Hockey, the refs can review the goals on their own. Why did the NBA not think of this before? A postseason game between two great teams. Are you serious? Can't review that. Wow. Oh, here's the kicker. If the refs decided to, they could have spent 10 minutes reviewing the clock to see if they had to add or subtract a couple tenths of a second. That would have been allowed. So the NBA thinks it's more important to have a couple tenths of a second more or less on the clock than whose ball it is. If I'm down 1, I'd rather the ball with about 6.5 seconds left than the other team having the ball with 6.7 seconds left. Oh, the ball was clearly off Memphis, by the way. And they could not review it because neither team did a challenge. And so they did a jump ball. Grizzlies won the jump ball. Morant had a great look, but he missed it. Ball don't lie. Warriors win game 1, but they've got to fix this. I have an idea. Limit all reviews to 60 seconds in any time of the game, especially in the last 2 minutes. Because I get the point of that they don't want the games to drag on forever. Just limit the reviews to 60 seconds. The NBA Rules Committee has some work to do. All right, in other news, Russia has been banned from all UEFA competitions for next year. That means the Women's Euros and the Champions League. That will mean that champions of Scotland, likely Celtic, will take a spot in the group stage of the Champions League. And if Villarreal don't win the Champions League, a bit of karmic justice, the Ukrainian team, Shakhtar Donetsk, will get a spot in the group stage as well. Also, in other news, the NFL draft, Trayvon Walker, surprise first pick in the draft. He really shot up the draft boards, but the real news is quarterbacks took forever to get off the board. I was low on the quarterbacks, but I wasn't this low. Pickett went 20th to the Steelers. Malik Willis was the second quarterback off the board. He went 86 to the Panthers. And another story of the NFL draft was receivers flying off the board. They flew off the board. There was 7 in the first round. think, let me check that. It was the record, I know that, but it flew off the board. While I checked that, the Patriots pick, we traded down. Instead of selecting McDuffie, we decided to select Cole Strange in the first round. He would have been available later. The Rams even joked that they'd be available when they were looking at them at pick 104. I don't think he would have lasted that long, but I think he would have been a third rounder still. So yeah, that was not a good pick for us. And we seemed to draft picks pretty early, which I did not like. We also drafted a backup quarterback, Brady Zappi, in the 4th round. I don't think we need to draft a backup quarterback that early, especially with such a young quarterback already. We did it. Would have better in the 6th or 7th, but it is what it is. We got Taekwon Thornton from Baylor, another great receiver. He was picked a little early, but with the receivers flying off the board, I think it was the correct pick, actually. He can fly. He had like a 4.2 140. And then he had 4.28 at his pro day, I believe. Absolutely insane. We need that speedy receiver threat. It was 6 receivers in the first round, I believe. 4 of the top 12, 5 of the top 18. Other positions were offensive tackle with, I think, 5 selected. There's 4 corners in the first round, 3 safeties. The first 2 picks and 3 of the first 5 were defensive ends. And now on to the rest of the Patriots picks. Let me scroll down. We had a pretty poor draft. I'd give it a D+ maybe, but we saved it toward the end. Marcus Jones, a very good cornerback. That would be good for us. We got another Jones, Jack Jones. Pierre Strong, running back, which we could use another running back. You could always use another running back in the middle of the late rounds. Always in this NFL with running back carry shares. Then we got the Bailey Zappi pick, which I don't particularly like. Got another running back in the 6th round, Kevin Harris. Defensive end Sam Roberts from Northwest Missouri State. Small school prospect. I like those in the late rounds, actually, because they tend to be drafted later than their actual talent indicates because they haven't had the high-level competition. So they got a decent shot. We got Chasen Hines from LSU and Andrew Stuber from Michigan. Other drafted quarterbacks include Matt Corral to the Panthers. I thought the Panthers would draft Willis at number 6. Desmond Riddler went 70. Correction. Desmond Riddler was the second quarterback off the board, not Malik Willis. He was drafted 74th to the Falcons. Other quarterbacks drafted were Chris Olajuwon from South Dakota State, Skylar Thompson. He could be useful in wildcat packages for the Dolphins. Sam Howell, he was projected to be a first-round pick at the start of the year, but he fell to the Commanders in the 5th. And Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant at pick number 262 to the 49ers. Also, Matt Araiza was not the first punter off the board. He was actually the 3rd punter. I thought Jordan Stout had a shot to go first because Jordan Stout was actually outstanding, but punt god in Buffalo, I don't like that as a Pats fan. I don't think the Patriots had a good draft, by the way. We're going to finish third in our division on like an 8-9 record or so. Yeah. We did not have a good free agency or draft this year. Yeah. Right, college basketball. Jay Wright has retired from college basketball. I think this is going to become more common as coaching becomes a 24/7, 365 type thing. With the transfer portal and everything else. I could not be a college basketball coach at this high level. I just couldn't do it mentally. Like, I want to have a life. Basketball was his life, and he's going to enjoy the rest of his life now. He might coach the NBA in the future, but that's nowhere near as intense as college. Speaking of the NBA, Oscar Tshiebwe, the Player of the Year, is returning to Kentucky. Kentucky could be a real contender for next year. Just don't run into St. Peter's. Oh, one more thing about the NFL draft. Georgia set the record with 15 draft selections. What an outstanding draft for them. And season, they are the champions after all. All right. Thank you for watching. See you next week.